Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most shocking and decisive moments of the entire Russia-Ukraine conflict. An attack so large, so precise, and so unexpected that it has rattled the Kremlin, stunned military analysts, and shifted global attention right back onto the battlefield. Crimea has erupted in massive explosions after what many are calling Ukraine's biggest and boldest strike yet. And in this video, we're breaking down exactly what happened, why it matters, and what this means for the future of the war. From the very beginning of the conflict, Crimea has been one of the most heavily fortified and strategically important regions under Russian control. It's home to major air bases, logistics hubs, ammunition depots, naval ports, and the nerve centers that keep Russia's southern front operational. So any strike on Crimea is not a small event. It is a direct hit at the heart of Russia's entire war infrastructure. And that's exactly what makes this latest attack so significant. Reports, satellite images, and battlefield updates point to one thing. Ukraine executed a coordinated, high-level, deeply strategic strike that took out some of the most valuable and protected Russian military assets in the region. The moment images of the explosion surfaced, the reaction from the Kremlin was immediate panic. Russian officials scrambled to downplay the situation, claiming minimal damage, but the visuals told a different story. Explosions ripping through facilities, massive fireballs lighting up the night sky, and smoke plumes stretching for miles. Russian military reporters and pro-Kremlin bloggers, who usually toe the official line, couldn't hide their frustration this time. Many even admitted the strike was devastating, calling it one of the most embarrassing breaches of Russian defenses in months. What shocked analysts even more was the scale and precision of the attack. This wasn't a small drone strike or a symbolic hit. This was a multi-target, multi-phase assault that appeared to be planned with detailed intelligence on Russian movements and vulnerabilities. Ukraine has been increasingly improving its ability to strike deep into occupied territory, and this attack proves just how far those capabilities have come. Whether it involved long-range missiles, advanced drones, Western-supplied systems, or a combination of all three, one fact is clear: Ukraine sent a message that Crimea is no longer a safe zone for Russian forces. As the explosions rocked Crimea, Russian defense systems were caught completely off guard. Videos posted online show Russian anti-aircraft batteries firing wildly into the sky, desperately trying to intercept incoming threats. But the scattered response suggested Ukraine's strike overwhelmed Russian defenses before they could fully react. Analysts believe this attack exposed major weaknesses in Russia's air defense network, weaknesses that Russia has been trying to hide behind bold claims of being untouchable in Crimea. The timing of the strike is also extremely important. Ukraine has been working to regain momentum on several fronts after months of intense fighting. Hitting Crimea this hard sends a message not just to Russia but to Ukraine's allies as well. The country is still capable of major operations, still capable of surprising the enemy, and still determined to reclaim occupied territories. For Ukrainians, the strike wasn't just military, it was symbolic. Crimea has always been seen as the ultimate goal, the crown jewel that Russia proudly claims as its own. By hitting it with such power, Ukraine is showing that the peninsula is not beyond reach. Inside Russia, however, the mood was far from confident. Kremlin spokespersons tried to maintain calm, insisting defenses worked as intended, but Russian social media exploded with anger and disbelief. Many questioned how such a massive strike could have slipped through the cracks. Others blamed commanders for failing to protect critical infrastructure. A few even warned that if Ukraine can hit Crimea this hard, nowhere is truly safe. The strike also has major consequences for Russia's military operations. Crimea serves as a crucial supply line for troops fighting in southern Ukraine. Destroying warehouses, fuel depots, radar sites, or command centers can slow down Russian logistics, weaken their supply chains, and disrupt military coordination on the front lines. And in a war where ammunition, fuel, and secure communication are everything, hitting these targets can shift battlefield dynamics in Ukraine's favor. And then there's the psychological impact. Russia has invested enormous resources into making Crimea appear untouchable, heavily guarded, and permanently controlled. But this strike shattered that illusion. It showed the world, and more importantly Russian troops, that Crimea can be hit, and hit hard. Morale is a powerful factor in war. Ukrainian soldiers gain confidence, Russian troops lose it. Even a single major strike can ripple across the entire conflict. As the shockwaves of this attack continue to spread, experts are now debating what happens next. Will Russia retaliate aggressively? Will Ukraine follow up with more strikes, or will this push both sides into a new phase of escalated conflict around the peninsula? What we do know is that Russia cannot ignore what happened. The Kremlin views Crimea not just as occupied territory, but as Russian land. Any major attack there becomes a direct challenge to Putin's authority and his narrative that Crimea is permanently part of the Russian Federation. Ukraine, on the other hand, sees Crimea as the centerpiece of its strategy to ultimately win the war. By weakening Russian military installations on the peninsula, Ukraine increases its long-term chances of reclaiming the region, or at least making it too costly for Russia to hold on to. The latest strike shows Ukraine is willing to push deep, take risks, and strike where it hurts the most. In the days ahead, we can expect more statements, more satellite photos, more analysis, and possibly more retaliation. But one thing is certain, this attack has changed the conversation. It has reminded the world that the war is far from over, that military surprises are still possible, and that Crimea remains one of the most volatile and unpredictable battlegrounds in the entire conflict. For the Kremlin, this moment will be seen as a painful wake-up call. For Ukraine, it will be seen as a major victory. And for the world, it shows that even now, after so many months of fighting, the conflict has not settled. It continues to evolve, escalate, and deliver moments that shift realities on the ground. As analysts review the aftermath, one question stands out above all. If Ukraine can pull off a strike of this magnitude today, what might it be capable of tomorrow? And how will Russia respond when the security of its most prized territory is shaken? These are the questions shaping the next chapter of this war. And one thing is certain, Crimea will continue to be at the center of the storm. The explosions that lit up the night sky didn't just destroy military facilities. They destroyed the illusion that Russia's control over Crimea is absolute. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned as we continue to bring you the latest updates, insights, and analysis on this ever-changing conflict.